I'm in it.
Just looking over.
I'm here.
Calm down.
I have a fidget, and I meant to bring it. I'm kind of pissed I didn't.
Do you want my fidget?
No.
My fidget pen?
No, it's your
Oh, you are slamming it on the table.
pen. Get rid of everything around me.
You can play with.
I don't want
do
it.
what you normally do. Get a pencil and play with the little
I don't
circles.
want it. I'm ready. Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah, play with the circles like you normally do.
These are good.
Should I leave all of this in?
This is good. No, I'll play with these.
Should I leave all this in
Yeah,
to
you
the
can
intro?
leave these. Yeah. I'm gonna play with these little circles.
Okay, cool. You got your fidget thing.
Yeah,
I got my
fidget.
highlighter that I mess around with
Yeah,
the
I
whole
don't
time.
want to touch your pen. This is your pen.
Okay.
I have a fidget thing. It's at
That's
home.
okay.
It's like a little thing, and it's got a marble, and I squeeze it back and
I
forth.
can't believe you didn't bring your fidget thing.
I'm here.
I have a fidget pen for you if you
I'm
want,
here.
but
No, I don't
it's
want
okay.
I can't
It's
touch your
okay,
fidget.
sweet boy. It's okay.
That's your totem.
It's my totem. I have 4 of them.
Oh my! You'll never know what reality is. You're in too deep.
Yep, I am.
No, I'm back.
All right, let's go. Let's do this. I might keep all that then. We'll see. Hello and welcome to Straight Dude Date Night, a show where 2 straight dudes go on a date and they review it. My name is David Stallings and I am one of these straight dudes.
And I'm Ricky Rivera, the other straight dude.
Today we just got back from seeing the brand new animated Pixar movie Elemental, which I don't think anyone knows about.
Not elementals.
It's
Elemental.
singular, right?
Singular.
Okay. There's the one element, I guess, that we care about.
Elemental.
Elemental. Not
crazy.
There are several ones in the movie, but that's not the name of the movie.
It's all about the elements.
But we only care about one.
Well, there's 4.
Bro, don't care about them. Because it's singular. Elemental.
Elemental.
Dude, have you seen any advertising for this movie outside of when we've seen it in trailers? Which even then was very limited.
I mean, the thing with seeing ads is like, I don't really watch TV a whole lot, and that's where they promote these.
That's true.
So we're probably not best test subjects for that.
That's a good point. You're right.
Because I've seen like
Dismiss my question.
Well, I mean, I've seen like a few, but it's only been in the last like week, only because they're saying like, hey, it's Father's Day weekend, go watch Elemental.
Yeah.
Take your dad to go watch Elemental, or dad, go take your kids to watch Elemental.
Yeah, Dad does not care about Elemental, though. I don't think anyone cares about this movie. But I'm surprised to say I enjoyed this very much. I'm excited to talk about it. I was not similar to my response to Transformers last week. I had very low expectations, and I'm happily surprised. So,
yeah, I was in the area of feeling like this movie, it has a lot of potential to be really creative.
mm-hmm.
I have no clue what the story is going to be about, but it could be creative, and I feel like they did that.
Yeah,
They definitely did that, and that was all I was here for. I knew that the story wasn't going to be anything crazy. I knew all this other stuff wasn't going to be all right. I just thought, dude, water and fire elementals, this could be cool.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think Pixar's biggest strength throughout the years is their world building creativity, which I think like thinking back on the movies that have really stood out to us, world building seems to be very important to you and I. That really stands out when it happens.
Yeah.
So I think going into it, like that was definitely going to be the coolest part, and they definitely delivered on that. But as for what the story actually was and everything, it was very weak. But I cared way more about the world around them.
Yeah, no, seriously, and I will say the few commercials I have seen looked all right. Like they didn't really look that good from the commercials. There were so many scenes in this movie that they could have put in the commercials that I think people would have been really interested in.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the one really big aspect of this movie that I did not see in a single commercial is that she can just make glass.
Oh
They're
my gosh. The coolest thing.
They're fire. She could just make things.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
With sand, she can immediately burn it and turn it into glass, and she does the glass blowing thing, which is so cool.
And I don't think they ever touched on any of that. I feel like every commercial I ever saw was just them on that subway going around the city, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw anything else that looked interesting. And yet all the other stuff in the movie, I was like, dude, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Every time they showed a new area of the world, I was like, whoa, this is sweet.
is very unique every time they got to be creative, and they didn't show that in the marketing at all. Real quick, I should give a synopsis of the movie. No one's gonna see it, but spoilers, I guess. How do I?
It's not really. It's spoilers, but
It's
like
all
it's
spoil-
a Pixar. It's a Pixar movie. It's not really a spoiler.
I feel like I said that because the last two movies we've seen have been like Spider-Man and Transformers, which is like.
Well, usually we don't want to give out spoilers because some people don't want us to get spoiled. But like, what's to spoil in this movie?
There's nothing to spoil. There's nothing to spoil.
It's just a basic kids, children, whatever style movie.
It's an animated Pixar thing. It's like, you don't care. You don't care. It's fine.
The story was weak anyway.
The story was not good. We'll get into it. But so the story is that a fire elemental named Ember, who is the daughter of two immigrant fire people from Fireland, they now live in Firetown, which is
they make Firetown.
They make Firetown. Ember lives there with her parents running their shop, the Fireplace.
Mm-hmm. Loved it.
It's getting ridiculous already.
The Fireplace.
Firetown is a sub-city, like a sub-city of Element City, which, because it was the immigrants that were the fire people came in, they kind of have their own area.
Think of like New York.
And they created a different area. What do they call them? District. I don't know.
District, sub, neighborhood,
whatever
you want to call it. It's just like
this one's.
Imagine New York.
And then there's Firetown in the side of it.
Yeah.
And in the main city, it's like that's where the majority of the water people, the air people, and the earth people are. And it's like actually pretty dangerous for fire people to go in, realistically.
The city was not built for fire people.
Yes.
Whatsoever.
Ember is trying to take over her dad's shop, but struggles a lot with charisma and connecting with people, and has what I would say is an anger problem, where she explodes when her temper gets up, literally creates a bomb.
Because she's fire.
But she can create glass. She has cool artistic talent. When a leak happens with the pipes, a water guy appears in the leak who got sucked in, and he is a city inspector and finds a lot of violations with the shop, and then leaves to go to City Hall and gives all the violations to the city. And now they're going to shut down Ember's family business.
Yep.
Oh no. Ember now convinces the waterman Wade to work with her to try and get rid of the violations out of being sentimental, I guess. And they find the cloud person who runs the whole thing, who can waive all the violations, and learns that there is a water leak in Firetown, and if they can fix that, all the violations will go away. What else happened here? They figure it out. Meanwhile, Wade and Ember are getting very close, and now after they fix the leak, the new dilemma is that the two of them are falling in love, but they're fire and water, and also Ember's parents are like super not down with that.
They can't touch because like Elemental City, there was never fire until literally her parents came.
Yeah. And I think it's assumed throughout that if like water people touch the fire people will die.
I just don't think anybody ever touched before this.
Yeah, it's just never happened.
It's never happened.
It
was kind of like, it's like segregation.
I was just about to say it's but the thing is, the key difference of the segregation is it's literally a danger thing.
Yeah, like they actually cannot physically touch.
It is if the water people make a mistake, they will kill the fire people.
Yeah, or vice versa. The fire people, vice versa. Like they will put each other out.
Yes, because they could evaporate the water people unintentionally. If they get too close, and the water people, if they accidentally overwhelm the fire people, would kill them. So it's segregation.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Like they have to. They literally cannot.
I cannot stress this enough. It's good.
But they hate each other. They really do hate each other.
We'll get into that in a minute. Let me get the rest of the story. Oh my gosh, this movie was ridiculous, dude.
Dude, it was such a weird idea, but
It
it
was
kind of
such
worked.
a weird idea. Because, oh my gosh. Okay.
They really just took, basically, they just took like immigration back in like the 50s and 60s. Imagine.
No, way further. This is like
40s,
1900s.
early 1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 1900s when like a lot of people are still rushing to New York and the U.S. away from refugee countries.
Exactly. Imagine that is how this was. Mm-hmm. You just can't talk to people that aren't your own.
Yes.
That was exactly how everybody feels here.
But
except for water and clouds, we kind of mesh.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost the same, really. I mean, clouds are just evaporated water, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just meh.
That'd have been cool. I thought he would. Nah, we'll get, sorry.
Okay, all right, let me just get through. Because the second half of the movie is basically just Romeo and Juliet, where they can't be together because they think they'll literally die. And then upon learning that they can, as they bond more, they realize they actually can touch. They got to just push through it, and it basically turns into steam, and it's fine. And then Ember's gonna have the business handed to her, and then
she don't want it.
She don't want it. And Wade shows up and ruins the whole thing on accident because Ember told him she didn't love him, and then the leak from earlier, it breaks again after they fix it. It breaks and it floods all of Firetown, which is an actual like crisis. And Wade dies during this because it got too hot with Ember, not in like a weird way.
They got trapped
in a room while running from the water, and it got too hot and he evaporated. And then he came back
because he evaporated.
And so he came back, and then they basically got together, and Ember went on an internship to work for a glass blowing company in a far off city. And
they realized that all the buildings are made of glass. You could literally just create buildings. Ember.
You could be the greatest architect known to man.
Or elements. You could just create buildings. Mm-hmm. How cool.
Okay, so to sum it up, the first half of the movie is all bureaucratic nonsense.
Uh-huh.
And the second half is Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
That is what I would say this movie is. Do you think I got everything?
Easy.
Okay.
Easy story. Basic, it's just, it's just a mixture of Romeo and Juliet, but instead of like family beef, it's racism. But not really racism, because they legit just can't touch anybody. Mm-hmm. Like one thing that they didn't touch on in the movie, which I thought was hilarious, is that like the fire people rely on wood. Like they literally, their pillows are wooden logs. They deliver wood to everybody. Mm-hmm. They literally eat wood.
Well, I thought it was charcoal logs was what I was thinking it was. Was that not it?
Oh, I thought that they were like legit just like breaking off like sticks.
Maybe.
I thought they were just eating the
earth people.
I thought they were just eating earth people. I was like, dude, why are water and fire beefing? Fire is literally eating all of Earth.
Eating the earth people. They took over their homes.
Yeah,
they're eating them.
Yeah, they live in their homes. They eat them to live.
I'm pretty sure it was like charcoal stuff.
I guess the balls were charcoal. They were taking the wood and they were turning it into charcoal.
Yes, but also when they got hurt by water and they literally were deformed after, they would eat what we thought were sticks to replenish.
Sticks.
I thought it was charcoal to reignite the flame.
That'd probably make more sense. But where do you get charcoal from?
I don't know. I guess you still burn the wood.
Yeah, right?
You still get the wood and you
just
burn
wood.
I guess you just use the wood then. I guess, yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. There should be bigger beef between them and the earth people.
Even if it's like just coals that they're getting, it still comes from the earth.
True, yeah.
You know what? In some form of way, fire and earth people shouldn't be, because multiple times the earth people are getting burned by the fire. Like they undress them because they just burn all their leaves.
Yeah, Ember straight up ruined a whole guy's life by burning all of the leaves off of him.
And I'm surprised fire and clouds don't get along, because they're the only ones that can hang out and touch.
Yeah.
They literally shouldn't have any beef. I don't know why they were beefing.
Yeah.
That's literally like, dude, you guys
can actually chill together.
I guess actually make each other stronger, because I can flame you out, and like, you know, like I could give you more power. Because they were showing like all of the air people getting into like blimps, and then that's how the blimp was powered. They would just get in it. But it's like, bro, you're air and I'm fire. Just we could make each other stronger here. Like, you could power me up. I could, you know, like I could power you up. We could go crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird because it was very clear that the movie is kind of an allegory or metaphor for racism in a way, but it's like talking about the segregation thing and everything. It's literally a life or death situation between the certain groups. So it's very bizarre to me about that. Like, I get the message that they were going for, but and also to talk about that more, if it's about race, if the race is like what they wanted to focus on in the movie, which I think is very clever on how they wanted to do this, it is weird to me to then in the movie showcase different racial slurs directed towards different elemental people. Yeah, was very bizarre.
Yeah, that was a weird one. That was interesting. The words that they'd call each other.
There is a conversation between Ember and the main city hall person who can waive all the violations, who is a cloud person, and they meet in kind of a hostile way. And the cloud person calls Ember a fireball, which is she does not take well. And it seems like it's offensive to her. And then Ember's response to that is to call the cloud person a puffball or a puff cloud or something. Yeah. Which the cloud person doesn't take kindly to.
Very offended.
Like, just very odd kind of circumstances to showcase in the kids movie.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, them making fun of each other was so strange.
Yeah. What's hilarious about that scene too is that happens where they literally are calling each other horrible words, and then 5 seconds later they're like, nah, you're cool. You're cool. We can get along.
It turns out, you know what, you're actually a cool person.
You're a cool person.
Once I stopped thinking about you being fire, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's it. They just move on from it.
Yeah, we just move on. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it's definitely an interesting way to tackle that kind of conversation, which is good. It was. I thought it was cute. I thought the whole movie was very cute.
It was way better than I expected it to be. I think a big part of that might just be from the creativity of the world building.
Oh, dude, it was so cool.
Like, all of Pixar is very good at coming up with unique ideas and then just like, okay, so if this is true, what else is true? Okay. Like the example you used of we have blimps and we put the air people inside of it and they can just power it automatically. And then we have it when they get out, it falls down and more air people get in as it departs. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And the fire person should be able, if interacting with sand, could learn how to make glass and do very cool things with it. Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
Yeah, or like, oh, there's a water leak. Oh, I can just remelt the pipes and just tighten them up.
Yeah.
One of my favorites was there was a little kid and he was a little earth elemental and he kept trying to hit on Ember the whole time. And he tried to be in like, I'm a man. And he shows his armpit. And it's a little flower.
It's a flower that he keeps growing.
I thought that was so funny. And he plucks it. He's like, ow.
Yep. Plucks it and then is trying to give it to her and goes, my queen.
I thought that kid was hilarious, dude. That kid was rizzing it up.
Yes.
That kid was awesome.
He had more riz than I do. That's for sure.
Dude, he kept showing off them flowers. Oh my gosh. That was hilarious. That was such a good little bit.
Yeah. I do think it's bizarre though that this is, I think because it's Pixar, we assume like the movie's going to be meant for kids. And I told you this before, or not beforehand, when we left. The movie did not feel like it was meant to be a kids movie, like at all. Not in the way of like, this should be rated R or PG-13. It was more like, I just felt like the story that they decided to hold to is not one that kids will understand and that would be enjoyable to them even if they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it was like a message more for like adults.
Yeah, which fair. Like honestly, I thought it was a cool idea, and the way they implemented it was very sweet and unique. But I think we talk about marketing a lot, and this is another one that just seemed to really miss the ball on that. Of like, okay, it's Pixar though, like it's a kids movie, right? What adults are just gonna go on their own? I don't know if a lot will.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. This movie's had a lot of flack since it came out. I mean, or since it was announced, because like they never really gave much of an idea of what it was supposed to be about. Like,
Yeah,
they just kept saying it was like it's a bunch of elementals, and that's it.
and that's all it is.
Like it sounds kind of nerdy. Like most people didn't really care because they were like, elementals. What is this, D&D? I don't care.
Right.
Or well, and then when they announced the character designs, it just the water dude just looks like Osmosis Jones.
Yeah, they
And
just
then
straight up copy them.
Yeah, it was literally just Osmosis Jones, and then it's just like, oh yeah, that's it. And everybody was like, well, that's lame. Get original.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, it sucks that he looks like Osmosis Jones, but the movie is so original.
Yeah.
Like the ideas they have are so fun. It's so cool. Like when we went to the Waters house,
Yeah.
that was awesome. It was just a pool.
It's
It
just
makes
a
so
big
much
pool.
sense. They just float around in the
Yeah.
pool.
They
I
just
love
hang
it.
out. They just have a big pool. They got fountains everywhere. It's a good time. I love
Yeah.
that. They don't have watercolor paintings. They have color paintings.
They have color painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cute.
It was. That's the typical word for that I've always heard for the Pixar movies. It was cute.
Well, Pixar's
cute.
always done good about making original ideas. I mean, who would have ever thought about if an old man who set out with his wife to go adventure the world that he's just going to throw a bunch of balloons on his ceiling,
Yes.
or out of his roof, and just float
Yeah.
somewhere? Like, who would have ever thought of that idea? It's so
Yeah.
stupid. It could work.
Well, can we talk about that real quick?
Yes,
The
that's
short.
why I brought it up. Yeah.
Okay, so
The first short in 5 years.
Yeah.
The last time they did this was Incredibles 2. I looked it up.
Okay, that makes sense because it feels like it's been forever. So the beginning of this movie, Pixar actually had an animated short to start off the movie, which was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, for you Pixar heads and for people our age too, because we grew up going to the theaters, watching Pixar movies, and they always
had the short beforehand,
the
and they were
lava
funny.
one. The lava one gets me every time.
The lava one's great.
Bao is great. The little one with the kid where he can float and nobody else can.
Yes.
That one's really good. That one's really sweet.
I remember the one that was my favorite was all of the birdies on the phone wire trying to balance on it, and all of the small birds get really mad that the big bird shows up. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one.
I think that one was a Finding. Was it Finding Nemo or something? I don't remember
might
which
have
one
been.
it is, but
I don't
I
know.
definitely remember that one.
The thing, so this short, I guess I'll go into a little bit, is it's based on Up, and so it's Carl, the old man, living at home now with the dog Doug, and he gets a call from someone, we don't know who. He gets a call from someone who wants to go on a date with him, and he freaks out about it and is like, how do I go on a date? Also, is it okay for me to do that with my wife being dead? And Doug tries to teach him how to go on a date as if he were a dog.
Sniff her butt and bring her a toy.
Bring her a toy, and once you get there, wag your tail and tell her I love you.
Yeah, tell her I love you.
Like, that was the best part. Also, very macabre story.
Yeah, because the shorts are intended to just pull at your heartstrings, and they really are just there to, like, for lack of a better term, they're there to lube you up for the movie, right? 'Cause it's like,
Okay.
I'm crying before the movie's even started. My heartstrings have been pulled. My heart is open. Give me your best.
I see. They're trying to make you vulnerable before they attack you
Yeah.
with the greater story.
Which they do, because it was so sweet. Because he looks at his picture of his wife, and he's just like, I love you, Ellie. Like, I'll be home before 10, maybe 11. I promise. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do anything without you. But, like, it's just so sweet. And it makes you think of Up, because that's all you think about in Up is the sad story between Carl and Ellie. Like, you cry every time. I cry every time.
I
I
cried.
teared up.
I
was like,
cried.
man,
I remember
that's
crying.
so sad.
Yeah, it was awful.
And then they played this song.
Oh, they played the song.
This song. Everybody knows
Yeah,
it.
you know the song.
I won't sing too much. We'll get copyrighted.
Nope, you did it right away. You had it. You had it. That last little.
Oh, it was
that last little
perfect. It was
triplet you
literally
did.
perfect.
Yeah.
You won't even know that I didn't play a clip of the song.
Yeah.
In fact, surprise,
No,
that
for
was
no-
me.
Ricky did it, not a clip. I did not insert. I don't edit the podcast that much, guys. That was I don't know. It was a nice surprise to have at the beginning of the movie.
I definitely remember reading about this, that there was going to be an Up thing beforehand, and I forgot about it until it happened, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, Carl's Date is what it was called.
Carl's Date. And you know what? It wasn't as much of a banger as the other shorts.
I don't think it was that great.
But it was still cute.
It was, yeah.
It felt nostalgic. What it felt like, it didn't feel like they were trying to make like a really great short. What it felt like was a statement. It felt like it was just like, yo, we're Pixar and we're back. Because then after that, following that, they put in a new animation for the Disney Castle, celebrating 100 years. And that was like, yo, we're back, baby.
So real quick with the animated Disney Castle thing though, and then showing Disney 100, I feel like have they not been showing Disney 100 for the past like decade though? I feel like
we've been in the 100th anniversary.
Yeah, we hit 100 years since Disney was founded or something, and then they just were like, and this is forever. Now
forever, baby.
It's Disney 100 no matter what.
I think it's just because there's so many things of like because Disneyland's been in Disneyland's been celebrating 50 years for the last 12 years now.
True, yes.
Disney World I think is about to come up to like 40, 50 years, and then Disney 100, and then there's probably animation studio that's been around for 75 years. So it's like, there's Pixar's probably been around for 40. It's like all these things are starting to get celebrated. But yeah, that is a good point. It does feel like we've been celebrating 100.
It's
for
just
a long
the
time
animation
now.
they use to introduce, to be like, hey, this is a Disney product, and then showing Disney 100 every time now. I'm like, how long have we been in the 100th year?
Hey, that was a cool new intro though.
It was cool.
It
looked dope.
That intro and the short just felt like they were trying to make a statement. Like, look, we're back in theaters. It's been 3 years. For them, at least. I mean, people have been making movies, but this is like the first big Disney Pixar movie.
Well, the last one that they did that was in theaters, I think that was planned to just be theaters, was Onward, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But that released like literally the week COVID happened.
Oh, which sucks because that movie was awesome.
That movie was great. Loved it. Tom Holland, Chris Pratt.
It was an awesome movie. And then they started pumping them out on Disney Plus. But now I feel like Disney Plus is so established by itself that they don't need to keep putting movies out on there anymore.
Yeah.
And also it's so expensive. Have you ever seen how much it costs to watch a movie when it premieres on Disney Plus like that?
I do not know how much I don't have Disney Plus.
Dude, Disney Plus, when they release movies in theaters and on Disney Plus, it's like $25-$30 to buy it.
Oh, I remember this happening with Mulan.
Yeah.
I think was streaming only or something, but you still had to pay for it.
It was they released
amount.
it in theaters, or you could watch it at home for like $30 to rent it for like a night.
And that's with you already having the subscription to the thing, right?
Yeah. So it's basically, it was their way of saying like, you don't have to go out to the theaters, which I thought about. The more I thought about it, I was like, for people like you and me, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But for a family of like 6, that's a value. That is a steal.
Yes.
Because a family with 40 little kids going to the theater is $100.
Yeah.
So $30 for one night at home is probably way more manageable than getting the kids in the car. I have a 5-month-old, and it takes me 20 minutes to leave the house.
Right.
So 4 kids, I'm sure it's a half hour of getting out. We got to get into the theater, and then we're going to spend $60, $80 on tickets, another $80 on concessions. Then I have to wrangle them into the theater. And then somebody has to go pee. We all got to go pee. Now we're all peeing. We've missed 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the movie. Now the kids are asking what's going on.
Yep.
Like, that's a value for those families. But for people like you and me, sucks.
Yeah, I think with movies that go, or not necessarily straight to streaming, but that are primarily streamed instead of in theaters, though, it gives me the same vibes of when we had movies that came out that went directly to TV.
Yeah.
It gives me the same vibes of
DVD.
like, it doesn't matter if it was still a Disney movie. This kit went directly to TV, which is an indicator that it's not going to be as good. It's not going to be that good. That's always been my perception of movies that are only streamed from platforms that, I guess Disney Plus is the main culprit of this, where If they have movies that go straight to streaming, it's like, okay, so are you saying the movie's not worth it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like.
Because, I mean, we talked about that with Air, too, where we were shocked that the movie was Amazon and they released it in theaters. It is an indicator. If one of the streaming services sends their movie to theaters, it is an indicator that the movie is a banger, you know?
Which is crazy because when they put a show out, it's so weird how the times have changed.
I know.
Because, like, TV shows that go on to Netflix and Disney Plus, you're like, ooh, that could be a banger. But if they were to air that TV show on television, you'd be like,
oh, this is bad.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. Yeah.
Dude, like, that's so true. If they were to release She-Hulk on TV, I would have been like, that's guaranteed bad.
Yep.
She-Hulk on Disney Plus, I was like, okay, well, they at least tried. They at least tried.
Yeah.
It's going to still be bad. But that's I don't know why She-Hulk came to my head first. But, like, you know
that's a very bad one.
But now we're the opposite. It's like, dude, if a movie goes to streaming, terrible. If it goes in theaters, awesome.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, because with Netflix is the main streaming thing that I still watch, and usually if I get a recommendation, like I think you recommended Beef to me, right?
Yeah.
Did you say that was on Netflix?
Netflix.
So you telling me that I'm considering watching it.
You should.
I know I should because you recommended it to me. But it's like, well, it's on Netflix and it's a TV show. It's probably great. Personally, I've had nothing but good experiences with the majority of TV shows I've watched on Netflix, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they actually put out really good TV shows.
Yes. Yeah.
It is very strange times we're in with that. So I don't know how we got into this tangent.
Oh, we were talking about this is the first theatrical release for Disney Pixar movies.
Yeah, since Onward. Bro,
Onward.
So what's funny with Onward though, as I think about it, so my sister wanted to take me to see it because it looked very Dungeons and Dragons based. Mm-hmm. And she was like, David's going to love this. We should go see it. And that's when COVID happened. And so her and I were hanging out at my parents' place and they changed it to streaming. And we started watching it. And the first 5 minutes I remember was all about their dead dad.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister and I looking at each other and just going, oh, it's going to be that kind of movie.
It's going to be heavy, yeah.
This is going to be a heavy movie.
It's a siblings movie.
It is a siblings movie.
That's actually the best way to watch it is with your sister, probably, because it is very sibling heavy.
It is a very fond memory I have with my sister. And that was right at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
Because whenever I think of that movie, I think of watching it with her, which I had a blast doing.
I somehow watched that in theaters before.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it. We went right before COVID.
Wow, that's unheard of with that movie.
I know. I watched it in Dolby too.
Wow,
it was awesome. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I just assumed. I guess it's still Pixar, so it was hyped, but.
Well, I think with that one, it was also hard though because it was you're right. It was very D&D based. The only reason people went to go see it that didn't care about D&D style stuff like that, like fantasy, I guess is a better way to put it. People don't care about fantasy. They only were there because it's Tom Holland and Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Which this movie, Elemental, had no big names. I mean, you might know. Obviously, me and David don't know who they are.
I have not heard of these people.
Some people may know of them, and they're probably screaming right now, going "Are you serious?
That person is so big." Okay,
you've never
get off
heard
your
of
high horse.
Leah Lewis? You've never heard of her? She was in the half of it, and Nancy Drew, and she was also in The Good Doctor. You think I've seen those shows?
How dare you not know her?
Yeah, so it's this is a very small, not small. Well, it is actually kind of a small cast, but it's a very I don't want to be disrespectful, but B-C list actors.
Well, I mean that's the thing, right? So if we look back at Onward, we had Chris Pratt, Tom Holland.
Yes.
Soul, if people remember that, was Jamie Foxx. Last year with Lightyear was Chris Evans. Pixar usually tries to pick up pretty big names for this stuff. So it's actually shocking to me that there were no notable names to average people. I would say. I don't know if we're considered average people with movies anymore.
I'd say we were fairly. I mean, even Turning Red had Sandra Oh, which for that movie I know is not necessarily big, but for the Asian community, they knew all those names.
Mm-hmm.
People knew those names.
Yeah.
So it's like they usually tend to put in big names for these movies. This one didn't have any big names, any A-list, nothing.
But you know what I think was cool about that was that because none of them were big names, I feel like the pressure may have been on for these actors of like, I got to do a good job. I got work to do. Because honestly, the voice acting was really good.
Yeah.
Specifically thinking about, there was one scene where Ember gets emotional and is starting to like lash out and kind of cry at the same time while talking to Wade, the waterman. And during that, I'm like, wow, this actress is like really going hard at this right now. Like it was very well done, at least from my point of view. I thought Leah Lewis, I thought she did a great job voicing that character. Which like, yeah, if you're not, I think there is a difference for the actors. If you're not a known name, I feel like there's more pressure. Maybe there's still more pressure when you're an A-list person of like there's expectations on you, but it's different.
Yeah, but you made $10 million or whatever.
I feel
these guys probably didn't make a whole lot.
Yeah.
There's no way that they were making Chris Evans type money.
Yeah, but they're still pursuing acting and voice acting, right? And they aren't known, but they want more work. They want to do a good job, and doing a good job in this movie, a big Pixar movie, is something that's going to help them get more opportunities in the future, which means they're going to do way more work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Disney and Pixar typically usually stay within their own people, if that makes sense. Like they usually end up reusing people they've worked with before. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any of these people in this movie have been in other, like maybe some of the smaller castings, but usually they like Chris Evans still has ties to Disney, obviously, because of, Marvel. Like they try to stay within their world of actors and actresses. Yeah. So this one was like a whole unique cast,
which I thought was fun. I really did like all the voices that they had throughout this movie.
Maybe that though, I don't know if it's necessarily hurtful. I think it's only hurtful that they didn't have a big name in this because of the time it came out. The timing of this movie was terrible.
Oh my gosh, they could not have picked a worse time to release this movie.
Yeah, like Spider-Man just came out, Transformers just came out, Fast and Furious is still in theaters, Indiana Jones is about to come out next week, so it's like dads are rather just wait for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
There's so many big movies out right now.
And no one knew. I think you mentioned it that you talked to people who were like, it seems similar to Inside Out in a way.
Yes, everybody kept thinking this is like Inside Out. Yeah.
But we don't really know what the movie's about. Honestly, it makes sense that the marketing wouldn't emphasize it because truly the first half of the movie, if me trying to explain it as like it's all bureaucracy stuff, it sounds boring as hell. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's hard to sell the movie without just showing you.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is. You got to just watch it. It's just so enthralling to look at. Like you just the whole time you're like, oh wow, this is so cool.
There's cool little details they're throwing in throughout. Like they pay a lot of attention to detail with their movies.
It would make so much sense if fire people eat coal, like, and they're just making it themselves. Like,
they're eating the earth.
That's
people.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. So the timing on this was abysmal.
Yeah, definitely.
Because of that. Their lack of marketing and then all of the movies that they're competing with right now.
Yeah, The Flash is out, Little Mermaid's out, Transformers is out, Guardians of the Galaxy is still somewhat relevant. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's plenty of people out there that would rather see Guardians than Elemental. At least for a dad's standpoint. Fast and Furious is still out. And then there's big movies coming out in the next, week. Mm-hmm. We still got Indiana Jones coming out. So there's just so many movies out right now, which is what summer is all about. It's all about the competition. But I think this year is going to be the first wave of summer movies since COVID, where we realize blockbusters and movies aren't as big as they used to be before COVID.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of, was last year really big in movies in the summer?
Not particularly. We had Thor. I remember that. We had Minions.
I don't remember obviously.
Obviously, best movie of the year last year, Minions.
But none of that. Get back.
I did not. No.
Sorry, we almost summoned him.
But a lot of work I have.
I really do think this is the first summer since COVID that's been blockbuster summer of movies.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be only time's going to tell, but my early prediction is that studios are going to realize summer blockbuster movies aren't what they used to be because of streaming platforms. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree, because there's like people are not, the majority of people are not worried about going out anymore. We're 3 years past this. It's with COVID.
Yeah,
people are going out,
of course,
and the theaters are seeing that too. But there is a significant, a substantial amount of people that are not gonna go to movies ever again.
The holidays will be the only time.
The holidays will be the only time, and it's like,
and even holidays have gone down
with the immense rise with streaming stuff because of COVID and the more what's the word? The more crucial they were to entertainment. Everyone's just like, well, it's going to be streaming in a month. Why am I going to go to the theater? If you don't care about the theater, you're not going to go support the theater. So the theaters are never going to be as packed as they once were.
No, they're definitely, I mean, even without COVID, it was always going to trend that way, but COVID definitely amplified that.
But that said, with this movie, I think a huge part, their marketing I don't think was that good, but I do think a substantial part of marketing that happens with a lot of movies still is just word of mouth. And so the families, I think this movie is going to suffer a lot. It's already not doing well with its grossing right now. And I think that the families that went to go see this movie this weekend, I mean, we saw it with the kids in there. The majority of the kids that were in our theater were just running around. They were bored. The majority of people, I think, are going to tell other people with families, probably don't see that movie. It was boring.
It's not that long, too.
It's not. It's not that long.
We got out and I was like, it was like an hour and a half. It was awesome.
And that's how, for kids, the movie was not compelling at all. I really find it shocking that the storyline that they chose went through, because we hardly laughed through it. Other than when the water people were crying. That was it.
Yeah.
The story for kids does not make sense. I was laughing a ton during the first half of the movie because the idea of a studio just making their storyline all about bureaucracy difficulties is hilarious to me. But for kids, they have no idea what's going on. And it was very clear in the movie.
Yeah, we had to go to the city inspector.
Yeah,
shutting us down because of code violations.
We had a bunch of violations because the pipes are leaking, and now the place is going to shut down. It's like, what? What kid wants to watch a movie about that?
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, it was an interesting choice. I don't know the right answer for when this movie should have come out, because next month isn't going to be any better.
Yeah.
But for Pixar to try to come back and make a big statement, this was a hard weekend to do it.
Yeah. I feel like they would have had more luck trying to release it in the fall or like Labor Day weekend, but I don't know what's coming out. Maybe something big is happening that weekend, but like they needed to release this movie at a time where they were not going to be competing with much, But summer is the main time that people actually go see movies with their kids, because the kids are out of school, right? So I think Labor Day weekend coming up would have probably been the smarter move, because this was they're trending to have one of the worst performances with an opening weekend for Pixar again.
Yeah, just every kid movie. I mean, look, man, just every kid's movie is coming out this summer. They're just packing them in.
Yeah, so there are so many other options for movies right now, and better options.
Get drowned out for sure.
Oh yeah, no one is going to pay attention to this.
I'm interested though once it's streaming how well it does, because I think once this movie starts streaming, which is so funny because we were just talking about how cool it is to go back into theater, but this movie once it's streaming, I think will do a lot better.
I think more people will check it out, but I still I could have seen this being more of a streaming movie, but the reason they didn't was because they put way more creativity and artwork into it.
Which it breaks my heart. DJ Khaled. No,
it breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart.
It sucks because
I love the animated movies. Don't let them die, people. Please do not let animated movies die.
I just don't think Pixar is the strong company anymore, is the strong group for it anymore.
Dude, Spider-Man is just ruined.
Well, we have
everybody else.
We have other organizations that are actually being creative with what they're doing and creating more compelling work. We mention the Minions constantly, or Despicable. Stop! I'm just stop.
Yeah.
This is not happening right now. I will summon the
minibus. Okay.
No,
okay.
get out. We talk about those movies, but like Illumination, because they did Secret Life of Pets too, right? Mm-hmm. Every Illumination movie I've seen, every time I've been like, this is a great kids movie, and also as an adult, this was so compelling. This was so funny to watch. There was stuff for the kids and also for David, and adult man. Like, there are other animation companies that are doing far better work than what Pixar is putting out. Yes. Not to say like I really did like the message they were going for with the movie of like, oh, this is creative. It does not, the idea that they went for just does not work as a kids movie.
Yeah,
it hard. Just did not. Everything put together, it did not work. The only thing that was selling for the kids was all the cool stuff happening around, but it was very evident in our theater. The kids were not interested.
Yeah, it feels almost late to the party. Which sucks because this movie had a lot of really cool scenes and creativity in it. But I see what you're saying. I don't think it's going to resonate very well, at least off the bat. I mean, over time, it might get better.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, too, man, I'd love to see a second one because I'd love to explore more of the world.
Yeah.
I think we could keep writing more stories about this. I mean, it's a very easy topic to write more stories on. Mm-hmm. We're elements.
Yeah.
We can introduce new elements.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the only thing for me with Pixar and Disney movies, I don't want the animated movies to die, because once the animated movies die out, we start making live actions.
True.
We need less of those.
True.
We need less live actions, okay? Just because Beauty and the Beast was such a banger doesn't mean we need everything to be live action.
Well, I mean, that's already a path that Disney is on. We're going to see every single movie we all grew up watching, the animated stuff, we're going to see all of them redone live action. They'll do that with the Pixar movies someday, too.
That was Beauty and the Beast's fault, guaranteed, 100%. That's the best. I think Beauty and the Beast live action is better than the animated.
Really?
100%, bro. That movie's a banger.
Wow.
That movie is awesome.
That's a while. It's
an easy movie to make live action. There's only one CGI. I guess there's not one CGI. There's also
bro. There's a ton of CGI characters.
But it worked. So have you seen it?
I have not. I've seen clips of it. I've only heard the bad takes of it though, or not necessarily bad takes, but like most of the takes are like it was horrible.
Nah, dude. That movie was a banger.
Okay. All right.
The music solid.
So were like the furniture in it, were they solid? Were they interesting?
Yeah, it was
designs
fine.
on
I thought it was interesting. They looked fine. I thought they looked better than the fish from Little Mermaid.
Well, I that's why I ask, because maybe the issue with the live action stuff is them continuing to live action animals.
Yes.
But when it's like objects, maybe it works. I don't know. There's something wrong with Disney's decision making on the live action animal anything. It just never looks good.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
But that's interesting. And I'm sorry I have not seen that movie. Otherwise, I would.
Music's awesome.
Well, yeah. So the
music is great.
The
music's already banging.
Look, Beauty and the Beast. The music,
dude. I'll take a live action soundtrack Beauty and the Beast over the animated one any day of the week.
Wow. Okay.
10 out of 10 times. I stand on this hill. I'll die on this hill.
I stand on the hill.
There is no convincing me that the animated's better.
Wow, you really liked it.
It was awesome. I watched both of them back to back, and I thought, wow, that live action was 10 times better.
You are the only person I have talked to who has said that movie was good.
Talking to people with bad taste.
True. Look, I trust you. But yeah, we're going to see, like, Disney's going to continue doing all the live action stuff. That's inevitable.
Yeah.
We're on the way with that. It really is a bummer to see Pixar just, I think it seems like they tried their best with this idea. And I do think it's like adults listening to our show, like, I think you'd enjoy it. I think majority of adults would actually like it. If I were a parent though, and I brought my kids to see it, and it was the first movie I'd gone to see with them in months, I'd be mad. I'd be annoyed, because it would just be me trying to corral the kids from running around like the people in the front row were constantly doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. I personally, I liked the movie, and I'll watch it again. I mean, I called Carissa immediately, and I was like, dang, you missed out. It was a good one.
Yeah, I think she would have liked it. I think like
this was a Disney adults movie. Like,
it was
Disney adults.
Yeah.
It really did feel that way. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe we just got a bad theater. Maybe kids actually do enjoy it, and the kids in our theater sucked.
I
But
mean,
we'll
maybe.
see.
I assume every single child is exactly the same, though.
I just wouldn't have brought my kid to see this movie of all the movies out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would have much rather just gone and seen Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Or I would have gone and seen Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even go because we would just watch Little Mermaid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so
Yeah.
many other movies out.
Yeah.
I just don't think this movie's going to shine bright by itself, especially since people already think it is just Inside Out,
Yeah.
which is so harmful to it because it's like it's nothing like Inside Out.
Yeah.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's a sign that if people think that, the thing with Pixar is that they've always been very good about being original. And so if the perception of one of their movies, though, is that it's not original, then that goes against their brand.
Mm-hmm.
They did their marketing just was not good on this movie.
Yeah, well, I think the other part of it, too, is most Pixar movies, I mean, think of a Pixar movie that doesn't have the one goofy, silly character that everybody loves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this movie didn't have that either. So this is like the first like movie where they tried to make like a story.
Dude, the whole thing, this was a drama. It was not not a children's comedy.
Like every Pixar movie though has that one character that's goofy, and it's like we all like that character. Like Onward has
Who is it? Who is it?
It's been a while.
Knock knock. Who is it?
Hold on. It's the
Knock knock. Ricky's brain.
Oh, that was a bad one. It's the freaking.
Who is it?
Gosh, there's a third person that like travels with him every now and then.
Who's the third
I
person,
don't remember
Ricky?
what it is.
I have no idea.
I don't remember. That was a bad take.
Good job. Great take.
But think about other movies like Finding Nemo.
There we go.
We got Dory.
Yeah.
Dory's the goofy, funny, has no real reason to be here, but we love him.
Yeah.
Up has Doug, the dog. The dog has no reason.
Why do we need the dog? We don't.
Love the dog. Give me more of the dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even Despicable Me, they had the MINIONS in them.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, who cares about? I don't even care about Gru or any of that.
Who?
I really don't.
No one
care.
cares. No one cares.
I just want the the little yellow dudes,
Mm-hmm.
the Tic Tacs.
Yeah. They're all looking at me right now. Okay.
Yeah, Gru.
No.
Yeah, so I think this movie definitely didn't have that style of character. Like every movie has that little goofy thing that everybody loves.
Yeah.
So it didn't have that.
Mm-mm.
Even in like Moana, everybody for some reason people really love Hey Hey the chicken, and I barely remember him in that movie.
I barely remember the movie at all.
Yeah, but right, like you know what I'm saying? Like every movie has that one little thing.
Yeah.
This one didn't have it.
This movie straight up was just a drama. That's all it was. Which is just, it's not bad, but it doesn't work for who they were trying to sell it to. Because Pixar is kids movies. That's the goal with them.
Yeah, this felt more like a teenager and up.
Yeah.
Like my sister would like this movie. She's 16.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she'd enjoy it.
Yeah. Well,
Elemental.
Only a
Interesting
single
take.
element.
A very compelling, a very interesting movie.
Yeah.
Talks very down of it, but loved it.
Yeah. It's an
odd one.
It's odd. Yeah. That's
Personally,
the best way.
I love it. Do I think it's going to be loved in general and will it go down as a great movie? I don't think so.
No.
But I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess really what it comes down to, David, is what do we care more about? What the general consensus is going to think of it or what we think of it?
Well,
Because personally, I thought it was a great movie. I don't think most people are going to like it, but I kind of don't care because I like what I like.
I think that I talked to someone recently about what makes a good movie, and he brought up something interesting, which was that to him, a good movie is one that accomplishes its goal. Did it do what it was intended to do? And the best example that we discussed was Cocaine Bear, where when you and I reviewed it, Ricky, we talked a lot about this movie's dumb, but that was the point. So it was good, right?
Yeah.
I think this movie falls into something similar where it's a very dramatic animated movie, and that's wrong. That was incorrect.
It's just promoted
not-
to the wrong crowd.
Yes, it did not accomplish the goal. I mean, like that's a weird way to put it, but the perception of these movies is that they are going to be funny animated kids movies, and this just the only accurate part of what I just said is that it was animated. That's it.
They just the problem is they didn't have the funny little character in there that everybody laughs at.
I agree. We had nothing to laugh
The
at.
thing with most kids, they don't actually care about the story anyway.
No.
I could ask my nephews what they think of a story. Like I could ask them about Spider-Man, and I'll ask them what the story was. They'll go, I don't know. I was Spider-Man. It was cool.
It's Spider-Man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is. The kids just want something fun. So that's the only thing. I think this movie is promoted for little children who, like, you ask a kid Finding Nemo. That's a heavy story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most kids, they're not going to care. I didn't care when I was young. I was just like, dude.
I thought it was funny.
I was, dude, fishy. Tap the fish. It's relatable. I do that. I'm a kid. LOL.
My favorite part of Finding Nemo when I was a kid was, and still as an adult, was the seagulls going, Morning.
Yeah, now I go back and I watch that movie and I realize that the mother was literally murdered and that Nemo is the only kid out of hundreds to live. That is so
Horrifying.
sad.
Horrifying.
That is so sad. As a kid, I didn't care
Didn't care.
because it was funny. So like that's the thing with this movie. They put a serious topic in there, which they do always with all their movies. They just didn't have the funniness aspect of it.
Yeah, I have a vivid memory with Finding Nemo of a single time where I don't know if I did this every time or not, but I asked my mom, could you fast forward from all the intro stuff because it's the barracuda showing up to eat all the people.
Yeah, it's so
and
sad.
Like, no, that's scary. I don't want the barracuda. Mom, can you fast forward?
Dude, it's depressing. You're
Yeah.
like, wow. That sucks.
That's hard. Well, on that note, let's I think we should get the boys have been waiting eagerly. Yep, yeah, bring it in. Bring in the banana meter.
Ooh, banana.
Wait, one of them is holding like one of them's holding like a lantern. Where did you get this? Careful.
Fire.
What? Oh my gosh.
Wow! Oh my God, damn it! They threw the lantern on the ground. Your house is gonna catch on fire.
Blow it out. Blow it out.
Blow it out. Shh. Oh, they threw some water on it. They're
Okay.
like doing like fire pit. Oh, it's a firefighter.
Okay,
Thing. Oh,
thank-
they're elementals. Woo!
Okay.
Fire, woo,
Good thing we
banana.
told them like the specifics
Oh,
of
that
the
one's
movie.
gonna shoot a banana onto it. Yeah, he shot the banana.
All
onto
right,
the fire.
as it's already just
All right.
extinguished. All right, now
Good
it's
job,
just
guys.
us. All right, great, thank you. All right,
Really
just bring it in there. Okay,
This
just
is interesting.
okay. Now some of them are cleaning it up. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
they're kind of well. That one's. Nah,
Well, thank God
he's
they
drinking
were
it, but
prepared
it's
for
fine.
it. Okay, that's fine. Ricky, what are you thinking?
Interesting enough. Thinking about this movie is very compelling. You know, it's hard to decide because it's like on one hand, I had a great time. I thought it was super creative. Do I think it did its mission? Kinda. I don't think they. I just feel like they were just trying to flex. They were just trying to make a cool movie.
we don't have to follow the mission thing. I feel like
No, I know.
you and I, our perspective is much different. That was just one that was interesting that I feel like this movie kind of fell into.
Look, for me personally, I like this movie. I'd probably rewatch it when it's on Disney Plus. I'll definitely rewatch it, and I probably would watch it with Denny only because I think it's cool looking, and I think he'll like all the colors and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
As far
Shout
as,
out to Denny.
yeah, shout out to my boy.
Mm-hmm. Happy Father's Day, Ricky.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. This was the Father's Day movie. I was promoted as the Father's
That's
Day
right.
movie.
They got you. Their
They got
marketing
me.
worked on you.
They got me. I took my only son, David.
Yes, thank you, Dad.
Yeah. Take that, Brad.
I had water in my mouth.
I don't know, man. It's a hard movie for me to rate because I really did like it. I had such a good time. I was so excited to see what they could do with it, and they exceeded my expectations personally of what we could do with elementals.
Yeah.
Do I think kids will enjoy it? Maybe not. Do I think a Disney adult will enjoy it? Yeah. Will a Disney adult think, will the kids enjoy it? Let's not be hung up on that. Maybe we just enjoy a movie that's for us. You know, we don't need to involve the kids. Disney adults stand together.
Yeah, get out of the room,
Screw
kiddo.
them kids.
Go to bed.
Most Disney adults don't even have kids anyway. You
Go
know?
to bed. Get.
There's grown men. We're grown men and women going to Disney and paying $150
Mom and Dad
to go ride on the
Mom and Dad are going to Disneyland. You're not coming with us, okay, kiddo?
That is a thing. And I will do that one day. It's too expensive to bring him. He's gonna want things.
Sorry,
I have
Denny,
self-control.
you're gonna stay home with Grandma, okay?
Look, I thought about this number on the way here, and I thought about bringing it lower, and I don't know if it's going to be too high or not, but I kind of don't care because I liked it that much. I'm throwing an 82 on it.
Holy cow.
I loved that.
You were very hyped about this movie.
I liked it, man. I thought it was awesome. It's not movie of the year, obviously.
Right, that was last week.
That was last week.
Of course.
But I thought, personally, I really don't care about all the other stuff. I thought it looked amazing. I think that's truly... For me, with animated movies, the way it looks has to be really strong. Otherwise, everything else falls out of place.
Yeah.
And with this one, it looked amazing. They were really creative. They did really cool ideas. We got to see a lot of different elements play together. And I thought it was a good message for me as an adult. And I hope people receive the same message.
Ricky, do you struggle with racism, Ricky?
Yeah. I just thought it was
Ricky,
cool.
Are you a racist?
No. Look, no.
It's okay.
I just thought
this is a safe space.
I just thought that's
you
a really
can come out as a racist here if you need to.
No. Screw racism. I just thought that's a really good message that might be hard for kids to understand, but I think if parents maybe they have to have the conversation with their own kids. Hopefully one day you do, and maybe if you don't, whatever. It's your life. You live how you live, and I live how I live. But I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a great movie. All of it was hype. I'd rewatch it again.
Right on. 82. I was not expecting that.
Soundtrack was awesome too, by the way.
We didn't even talk about it. That. Soundtrack was actually very fun.
Always fit the scenes going on. Banger. I was having just a good time just watching it. Honestly, I didn't even know what the story was for half the movie, and I thought it was a really weak story.
Yeah.
That's how much I really loved what was going on, the creativity.
So for me, I would say there were a lot of things weak about this movie, but I personally enjoyed it quite a bit. Again, I think the whole first half was just ridiculous. Of the main focus was just all literally city government issues, and that in a kids animated movie made me laugh a lot. But then, like personally, like I was not expecting it to be as dramatic as it was. I enjoy that. I think that's interesting. So I thought that was compelling. But even then, the story was kind of meh. The animation, as you mentioned, Ricky, I think was wonderful. Honestly, this is a weird one. Like I'm starting to get feelings back to Babylon of not knowing like was this good or not to me. But I do think like I could potentially rewatch this movie just for the animation. But even then, I don't think it was that. I don't think the whole thing as a whole was that great. I don't know. This one's odd. This is a number I was thinking of, like, it's a potential pass. You got to work your way up if you really want to work for it.
Yeah.
You look like you were going to say something.
No, I thought after the movie, I would watch another one. I would watch a part 2.
Interesting.
And that to me is like, well, that must have been good.
It must have been good, yeah.
Because actually, it'd be kind of cool to see a part 2. Let's go explore more of the world.
But then it's gonna go. This next one's gonna go straight to streaming, and then you're like, oh, do I want to?
No, that's gonna be trash.
That's not a good sign.
It's gonna be trash.
I think I'm gonna stick with this number. I was thinking of 60.
That's good.
Of like it's good, but it's not. There was a lot more that could have been done.
Yeah,
I think is the best way to put it. And I don't think it hit the mark on what it was trying to accomplish. Especially being marketed towards kids, that it was just the incorrect audience for the movie. Which I get, there's a huge portion of, in our generation now, there's a ton of just like Disney and Pixar adults, but they are still marketed as kids movies. So
yeah, you
the adults
definitely feel some of the how do we cater to kids kind of left the studio a little bit.
Yeah, because the adult population that goes to see the Pixar movies is not enough for their brand. The audience is still significantly like we need to pull people with families in because that's where the money is. And they just did not do that. But me as an adult, it was fun. I think it was interesting. And
it catered to me because I love water animations. So I think that's probably
that's why you love
I
this
liked
movie
it
so much, bro. Any
I said
animation
this
of
for
good water.
Avatar. I said this for Mario. I stand
Totally
by that.
forgot, dude.
I love water animations. There's just something that's so relaxing and
Yeah,
so cool
dude. All you
about
gotta
water.
show me, if you just show me some good wet water and some animation. Oh boy, that's all I need.
It was awesome. Look, man, if you can make some good water animation, you got my vote. You got my vote.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Also, side note, I actually really liked the character designs. I thought the character designs were very cool.
Yeah, I actually stopped thinking about Osmosis Jones pretty quick. So
Yeah.
that was a good.
You kind of
plus.
see him at first, and then shortly after, you're like,
He
he
disappears.
looks cool.
It's not that bad.
He's not that bad.
Well, I think that's why people also thought of the Fire Girl. I was thinking of it as Inside Out, is because there is literally a fire character in Inside Out.
Yeah.
But like, just look, if you've never seen Inside Out, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. I mean, even after Inside Out, I saw in theaters like 3 or 4 times when it came out.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie. I did not get any vibes in this movie about Inside Out. Like I still stand by this was a very original idea.
Yeah.
It just was not. This was much weaker. It's tough being a very large organization at this point, because there is higher expectations for you, and they just missed their mark. I think by a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Elemental. Next week, we don't know what we're watching because there's a lot of movies out there.
There's
But
a
we're
lot
gonna
happening.
watch
Oh my gosh! But summer's been very fun, though. I
Summer.
like having a ton of options again.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Sorry that we'll get to these movies slowly, but we will get to them.
And we're not going to get to all of them. We've already listed some movies to us that we're just not seeing because we don't want to.
Yeah, there's a few movies out there. The Flash, probably won't see it.
We're not seeing it. We've already dissed DC on this show a couple times. We didn't see Shazam.
Well, they already said that none of it matters.
None of it
anyway.
matters?
They're rebooting the franchise. Who cares?
First, reading all the stuff about the lead actor kind of feels weird to me to go support him.
Yeah,
honestly, like
yeah, that's crazy to me that we're still supporting him. If they did that exact same thing with Jonathan Majors, people would have a freaking fit.
Mm-hmm.
But because of this dude, we're like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah, that whole situation very bizarre to me. If you're going to see it because you loved the show and everything, well, cool. We will not be reviewing that movie.
Also, if you love the show, maybe we're not for you. Because that show sucks. That show is trash.
No, dude.
Look, I love The Flash. The Flash is my favorite DC character, and I think everything that they've done with The Flash is trash.
First off, I cannot possibly fathom how that is the case, that is your favorite DC character. I've never understood that about the Flash at all.
I think the Flash in like old Justice League cartoon, awesome.
That's so bizarre to me.
Flash now, trash.
I
just knew DC was gonna bomb when they made Ryan Reynolds the Green Lantern all those years ago. Ever since then, they've never been right.
Look, I've just not the DC. I'm excited for anything new. How did we get into DC? What just happened?
We're just talking about movies that we're not going to see. We're not seeing the Flash.
We're not seeing it. We don't want to.
Fast. Don't ever ask again. We're not.
I know every summer we're gonna have to deal with this about Fast and the Furious. We're not watching it.
They're probably great. We've not seen them, so we're gonna do no justice.
We're gonna watch whatever
Indiana
we want.
Jones. I don't know.
I feel like we're gonna end up seeing that.
I want to see it personally.
I want to see it too. So
the real debate is, what do we see first, Barbie or Oppenheimer?
That's the huge debate that we have to figure out
at the same time. And
I know, that's horrible.
Don't quote me on this, but I think they come out around the same time as our 1-year anniversary does.
It's very close. You're right.
I think it's
because it's the 21st.
Like around the same time, which is crazy because we have to choose one of those to be potentially the 100, not the 100. The 100.
The 100. Yeah.
No. The 1 year. The 52 weeks.
Yeah, we go 51 into 100.
Yeah. That'll be the 52nd episode, the 1 year mark. So I'm interested to see which one it'll be.
We got a lot of fun stuff coming. We have an extra thing that we're thinking about doing as well to celebrate the year. So on that note, thank you so much for listening to Straight Dude Date Night, and we hope you enjoyed. As always, any support you can give of following us on Spotify, reviewing us Apple Podcasts, telling a friend about the show, subscribing to us on YouTube, all that stuff helps a lot. And yeah, every time I get to talk to people and they want to talk to me about the show, it's always super fun to just have that audience around that enjoys it with us. So thank you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Buy the merch.
yeah. Buy the merch.
I feel like that's every channel has to promote their merch at the end of it.
Hey guys, we got a bunch of merch on the way. It's coming.
Merch.
Yeah.
Thank you to our sponsor.
Thank you to our sponsor. Yeah.
Go ahead and go check them out. Make sure you save money with Honey.
No, yeah, you can save money on Cash Apping Ricky.
Yep. But if you want a shirt, go ahead and shoot me a Cash App. It's
with your
Ricardo
address.
Rivera. Shoot me a Cash App and I'll send you a shirt. It's not. I can't guarantee you that it's going to be a straight Date Night branded shirt. It might just be
a random one in his closet that he doesn't wear no more.
$10 and I'll actually
that's cheap shirt.
$15 so I gotta do shipping.
Still cheap shirt.
$15 I'll send you a shirt. You go ahead and hit me on that Cash App and I'll get it your way.
That's big offer, guys. It's only gonna be around for this week only. Buy the merch. On that note, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great week. Have a great day. Bye.